One other baseball note comes from the third team in Southern California. And John, I don't like this storyline at all. I don't like, if I read between the lines of what has just been said, in Anaheim with the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, Shohei Ohtani, some people say, is the face of baseball. When he signed a one-year deal for $30 million, and he is hinting that he's not happy in Anaheim.
His direct quote upon landing in Tokyo with a Japanese reporter was, "I have a negative feeling about 2022 in Angel baseball." And this is from your superstar. He will make $30 million next year on the final year of his contract. Who knows whether or not he would be willing to sign a contract extension or whether or not his agent would take him onto the free agent market. I mean, we're talking about a special guy here. Over August and September into October, he hit 305 on a lousy team. In those 3 months, his ERA, John, as a starting pitcher, was 1.62. How phenomenal is that? But never been to a playoff game, 5 years of losing records, been through all these different managers. Now, things have to change, and they've begun to change in Anaheim. They've obviously got Ohtani. They got the superstar Mike Trout, who's fought through a lot of injuries, finished up strong. They got Anthony Rendon, the big free agent third baseman, has been hurt. Finally got back at the end of the season, did not do much. Their pitching staff may be as negligible as there is in Major League Baseball. They got a massive job to go find arms to complement what bats they have. Phil Nevin, contract extension, 1 more year as manager. They fired 3 coaches in a span of about 18 hours this week. So there are going to be some changes on that bench and on the baselines working with Phil Nevin. But, man, they have an awful lot of work to do. And, by the way, the unwritten story, elephant in the room story, ownership. Who will it be? Artie Moreno is taking offers to sell the team. Will there be new ownership in place before we get to the winter baseball meetings? Because that's when all the wheeling and dealing begins as it relates to free agent signings and as it relates to trades. So, boy, there's a lot of uncertainty in Anaheim. I mean, the givens are they got 3 really good players, but they don't have very much pitching. It's an awful lot of answers they have to find, and they have to do it fairly quickly because, pal, we're at the end of October, and the winter meeting's the first week of December here.
Mm-hmm. You know, and I remember going back when Ohtani first came to the United States, and, you know, AJ Preller made a big pitch to get him here in San Diego, even learned Japanese in his presentation. But it seemed like Anaheim kind of came out of left field. They weren't really one of the early favorites to sign him. And so I'm wondering, Ohtani is probably kind of kicking himself. Maybe I picked the wrong team because it's all gone sideways with the Angels. But you figure he's got a 1-year deal. If the Angels are smart, they'll trade him and try to get some talent in the door because they don't seem they're able to build around the guy. And imagine what he would look like on the trade market.
You're saying that, but if this had been 20 years ago, small market San Diego, do you think you'd be saying that about trade Tony Gwynn?
Well, I mean, Gwynn was a San Diego guy. I mean, you know, San Diego State, he was part of this community. I don't know. How does Ohtani feel about Southern California?
Well, that's why he's here.
Right.
He could have come here. He could have gone to Seattle, which had a history with great Japanese players. He elected to come to Southern California. I think he's a magical player. I think he's a mystical person. I think he's dedicated. I think he's honest. So it's at the front door of Perry Manassian, the general manager. Fix this franchise to keep that player.